So I'm doing a bit of electrical work on my bike here, and I thought I'd make a video on wiring tips and various electrical tips. This applies to either your motorcycle or your car, more or less the same type of system. First of all, I'll just give a quick update on what I'm doing to the bike. I'm adding a distribution block, which you see right here. This row here is for the positive, this is the ground. What I'm doing with the distribution block is rather than running a power connection all the way down to the battery and then back up for each accessory that I have, I decided to relay the battery power up here. So any accessories such as a 12-volt socket. So I have a 12-volt socket right here, and my heated grips. This is the switch for it, and you can see the wire going to my grips. All of these accessories can be run off from here, so it just makes it a lot more convenient, especially in the future if I decide to add more accessories. So this distribution block is not directly connected to the battery. It is connected by a relay. So my relay is located right here. So the reason using a relay is because if, let's say, you directly hook up your accessories directly to your battery and you forget to turn off your accessory, you will drain the battery. What a relay can do is when you shut off your bike, the relay will shut off, cutting power to your distribution block, cutting power to your accessories, so you don't accidentally drain your batteries. I do have a video on how relays work, so check that out if you haven't already. This is just a standard automotive relay hookup. So on to the electrical tips. So we'll start here at the battery. The first thing you do whenever working on electricals is remove one of your leads, either positive or negative. If you do remove the positive, just be careful when you're using your ratchet wrench. Don't bump into anything ground, such as this or this. Just take extra caution, because if you short positive to ground, lots of sparks will fly. And whenever you're connecting accessories or anything to your bike, directly to the battery or wherever actually, it is always a good idea to fuse your system, no matter how much or how little current it draws. Okay, I have a 15 amp here, and this is connected to my distribution block. So my distribution block can support up to 15 amps worth of accessories. So when I say you should use a fuse no matter how little current you're drawing, this is more of a safety precaution, just in case one of your wires come loose and it shorts to something else. Your fuse can blow before anything bad can happen. Or if your accessories decide to fail on you, create an internal short, your fuse can save your entire electrical system. It can save you from a fire or a potential fire. A quick rule of thumb in calculating a fuse, or what type of fuse to use, is how much current are you going to be pulling, first of all. If the value is known, some accessories do rate their electrical systems for how much current they pull at maximum. You would take that value and do 30% of that, calculate 30% of that value, and then go up with the next available fuse. So in automotive, there aren't too many fuse choices compared to electrical systems in consumer electronics, for example. So the way you would calculate automotive fuses is same principle applies. So for example, you're pulling 10 amps or your accessory is rated for 10 amps. 30% of 10 amps is 3 amps. So your calculation of your ideal fuse to use would be 13 amps, but in automotive there's no such thing as a 13 amp fuse, or no such thing in at least these types of fuses. So your next one up would be a 15 amp. So you would use a 15 amp fuse for that system. So moving on to wiring. A lot of times people are in a rush, they just want to get the wiring done with, and they just cluster their wires up, and it turns into a big rat's nest. Although functional, in the end, whoever wants to troubleshoot this system will have a hard time and will most likely just rip the wires out and start from scratch again, and that's just a waste of time, especially if you're doing it. Again, you don't want to deal with rat's nests. So here's a tip for doing relatively clean wiring systems. What I do is I will route my wire along a existing wire loom. So as you can see down there, this is the wire coming from the battery up to my relay. I've zip tied it to a existing wire loom here. Although wrapping electrical tape around the wire is also acceptable. It's actually more cleaner than doing zip ties, but I find the zip ties more convenient in this case because there's no real easy way to wrap electrical tape down there. So it's all wrapped around along the frame of the chassis, or along that wire loom, so it comes up to here. And then coming from the relay, there are another bunch of wires which I've zip tied to an existing wire loom all the way up to the dash. So that's one way of keeping your wires clean. When joining wires together, please solder them. Do not wrap the wires. I know some of you are thinking soldering is a bit of a pain and it takes a long time, but spend the extra 10 seconds. Your future will thank you, because wrapping wires is probably the number one, or one of the top causes in electrical failures. So after you've made your connection, your solder connection, you will need to insulate this so it doesn't touch another circuit, causing a short. So you can either do this by wrapping it with electrical tape, which is quick and easy, or spend a little bit more time with shrink wrap or shrink tubing. You can usually buy these as a kit for about $20. You get various different sizes, and all you do is slide the shrink wrap over your connection. Now you can either take a heat gun, soldering iron, or a lighter. I don't have a lighter. Anything that produces heat, or at least 120 degrees Celsius heat, to shrink the tubing. So I will use my heat gun here. And there you have it, a nice connection. A good wire stripper is always good to have when doing electrical. This is the one I prefer to use when doing anything on the bike. It can accommodate several different wire sizes. And so I'll show you the convenience of this type of wire stripper. You can do your conventional wire stripping like that. This exposes the tip. Or let's say you want to tap a connection in the middle of the wire. You can also do it with this strip right here. So just like this, and it will just spread the insulation aside, and you can tap your connection from that point there. Ring connectors, blade connectors, they're always useful to have, just in case you want to put one of these through a bolt or connect one of these to a blade. So just to attach a ring terminal or any of these crimp connectors, strip off a little bit of the end, just enough for the wire to get into the metal, like so. Now a lot of people will use pliers, which is fine as long as you get a nice tight connection, but what I recommend is one of these wire crimpers. Again, these are not really that expensive, they're like $20 from any electronics store, and it can accommodate different sizes of connectors. And then just press it down, and there you have it, a nice tight connection. So that about does it for electrical tips, or at least what I can think of at this time. If there are any more tips, I will upload another video to share them with you. So in the meantime, I will have to reassemble the bike and make sure everything works. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them in the comments below or message me directly.